And for pledge. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Can you touch me again? It's got a lot of blood here. Boy, you in here. And get Tim. Tim? You're there. Okay. Welcome.
Hi.
We are here to talk about furniture.
Yes.
You're on.
Well, so I think a lot of the concern was they had contacted the town about being assessed under a certain RSA. And previously, the way the RSA had been read is that they had to apply for it. But I think in reading that RSA, the wording of it does say that they're entitled to it. So there's no application that's required on the part of them to be assessed as such. I think in my mind, after reading it and having the discussions, it's really just a matter of making sure that the property that they're looking to have it assessed as current use rates is in fact a well location or a protected radius.
Yeah, well protection.
And that it's regulated by the DES. That's really the only requirement under that RSA that would require them to be assessed under the use rates.
So, I'm going to ask the question. So you've had the conversation. It seems like we've come to the conclusion of what needs to be done. And we're going to move forward with that process?
Correct. I think for this year, we should probably put that in effect. So the problem is, I think for, I believe it's the Jordan lot, where the majority of the value is in the land, for all the values in the land. That one will probably require an abatement. Because the current use value is going to be lower than what the first issue bill was. The beach lot that has a distribution value on it will probably be okay. We assess the land as current use, and that December bill, it will automatically adjust that.
So what it sounds like is we're going to probably have to do an abatement for the Jordan lot.
Yeah, they'll be minimal. I think the assessment there is in the 60s, so it's not huge.
One of them's 164, the other's 142. It's 3 acres. I think that's the one that's 142. But current use is, for the parcels based on the current state valuations is like $250 an acre. So it drops from 142 to $750, 142,000 to 750. And then the other one was 64,000, and that's like a 1.6 acre lot. So again, that's going to drop from 64,000 to some other. But as Chad indicated, there's a pump house on there, which has a valuation of $600,000-$700,000. So, you're still going to pick up the rest of that in the second half. So it's just going to be a reduction there.
So let me just ask this question. So because it's in current use, even though it can be in current use because of the way it's being used, because it falls under the 10-acre bit, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the current use law, the way it's written, is there is a stipulation where you can be under 10 acres and still qualify.
Right.
But for the utility, it wouldn't really qualify for them. But this 72-8T allows them to put it into current use, even though they're less than 10 acres,
Okay.
as long as it's used for a protection radius
Okay.
around a well.
So that's kind of where I'm getting at is, someone may say, oh, it's under 10 acres, you can't, but there is some stipulations where they meet those requirements and so it can happen. Because
Correct.
the regular John Jones homeowner has 5 acres, you can't put it in current use.
No, and again, the language, it sets the value of the utility, or water utility that's privately owned. Specifically, that was put in 2018 because we are required to maintain these undisturbed sanitary radii. And, very often, like I said, with a small well, it's a 250-foot radius, so, it may be 2 or 3 acres. And so it was specifically written in there that you should put the land valuation should qualify. It qualifies this current use, and we're entitled to that.
I just wanted to make that clarification because some people will be like, well, it's not 10 acres. It's like, no, because you meet certain requirements because of the purposes of it's being used, whereas a regular landowner would not because it's.
It's not, they're not using that land for sanitary protected radii, they can disturb it, they can do whatever they want with it.
Okay. So,
Well, and actually, even in this case, even if they did have a protective program, they're not a utility.
right, that's what I'm saying, you have to meet certain criteria.
Exactly. In this case, you have the utility.
You know, the regular landowner is going to meet that.
I only make that stipulation because I hope you can see that reading the minutes. I'm going, oh, I'm going to protect the radii.
Oh, yes, that's kind of why.
I have a well on my land. I can make a 75-foot radii around it. And I'm going to be assessed for it. But yeah.
So what do we have to do?
We're just going to have to change the description of the land values to be the current use.
And we can do that next time.
Yeah, we can do that next time. Yep. So that come December, the bill will be calculated.
And Chad, if you send me an email, what I'll do is I'll send you the, RSA 378 relative to the required, what we have to own and maintain, again, the EPA number for the system, it's regulated by the DES, the fact that it uses wells, and we're supposed to have the sanitary radii around those wells solely under our control, which was the problem initially. It was interpreted that we had to come to the town and ask for what's called a discretionary easement, less than 10 acres. Two problems with that: it gave you the discretion to say yay or nay. That wasn't the intent of the law. And secondarily, it gave the town an easement over something that we're supposed to control and have no easements on.
So it sounds like we have a plan going forward, it's going to be taken care of, and so we're good, right?
I believe so, yes.
You guys have any questions, comments?
I'll send you an email with revised ours.
That sounds much easier. I really thought.
No, I mean, like I was telling Dawn, once I spoke with Lauren and she was showing me how she was reading it, and I was looking at it, I'm like, it says entitled.
Yeah, it's all interpretation sometimes.
It is. Well, a lot of laws are gray sometimes, but that one I was like, it says entitled, and it doesn't say anywhere in it that you need to file anything.
When we wrote that law, because I was involved with it, the attorneys never, and especially the state, never wants to add new language. They want to point to other parts of the law. And so they said, oh yeah, you're entitled to current use in accordance with RSA 79A, entitled for 79C. And 79C talks about discretionary easement, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of where it left, we've been just slowly working through, because I told Chad, we're you and, interestingly enough, the town of Nashville are the only communities, even though Skip Sansucci, their appraiser, said, well, no, you've got to treat it this way. They've chosen to ignore the appraiser and, charge us for literally $14 million for land that is valued under the current use at about $120,000. So, I'm glad, we, again, when I saw Chad, we had a good discussion. We just hadn't managed to connect things up. I appreciate your time, but that's why I asked Rob and said, I really want to come in. I think things are getting lost in translation.
Well, sometimes that happens in email, right, sometimes it's good just to have a face-to-face conversation.
Absolutely.
And I totally get that. Tim, do you have any questions? Okay, thanks.
My question as a landowner in the area, will this affect my rates at all?
Will it affect your rates?
Yeah.
Your rates are already heavily subsidized by other communities. It's going to reduce our revenue requirement. So this is a test year. When we go in, we'll put in the property taxes we paid in this year. Since those are going to be reduced, we're obviously not going to ask for rates. You share your rates with 39,000 other customers. If you stood on your own, you'd be paying 4 times as much, given the level of investment per home and everything in a little bit of usage. Good news is you're in with a lot of others. As you probably notice, your bill has gone down in terms of what you pay significantly.
A little bit.
And, well,
Yeah.
the rate you're paying per 100 cubic feet dropped in half.
But what I used to pay.
You also are no longer paying the surcharge for the special investment in uses. So It should all be good. You know, and how are you getting that? Because the large industries and commercial entities in Londonderry, Litchfield, parts of Derry, Nashua are paying what you're not. It's a utility. Everybody pays the same rate regardless of.
It's gone up a lot since I moved there.
She's lived there like
We-
30 years.
39 years.
Yeah, well, the regulations have changed a lot. Your system has been entirely rebuilt. Your distribution system was a disaster,
Yep,
and your pumping station was a disaster.
yep,
So, you know, if you think about it, for 80 homes, we've invested almost $2 million in that system to get it to where it should be. And if you think about spreading that, you know, $2 million amongst 80 customers and carrying the principal and interest on that, you know, that in and of itself would be almost $600 a year just for principal and interest. The property taxes are another, as they currently are structured, almost another $200 a household. So without any electricity, without any chemicals, without any labor, without any water quality sampling, your cost just for principal and interest, if you stood on your own to pay for your infrastructure and your property taxes, would put you over $800 a month, or a year, excuse me, a year. So,
we do appreciate the generator. Not very often we lose power, but when we do, that's been really nice. Still have water when there's no power.
being back in, I forget, you know, we had the ice storm in
Yep,
November, we had the storm in February, and you know, people would say, I can have a generator,
Yeah.
have electricity, but I don't control my water. And so every one of the, you know, 79 systems that we own and operate, regardless of size, has a generator, so that when power goes out, you continue, you know, you think about it, that's, for that generator to work when it does,
Yeah,
it requires
yeah.
maintenance, it's checked annually, it's run monthly.
pretty fancy well house, gotta say.
You know, you could thank the UPS for it. You know, the old well house, technically, we couldn't enter confined space, it would require
Yeah.
2 people, the piping was rusted out,
Yep,
you know, the storage tanks were rotting, so, but that's a 50-year investment, so last 50 years.
good.
That's one of the challenges for very small communities that own their own water systems, is the types of investment that they have to make. They can't raise the capital, or if they raise it, they won't change their rates to support that, because people got used to paying $200, $300 a year for water. If you think about it, if your bill ran $600 a year, that's $50 a month for your water. What else do you get for $50 a month? And we're delivering
I pay more
water
than
to
that.
We're delivering water, you know, a gallon of bottled water is over $1. You're paying 50 cents for a gallon of water delivered to your faucet, under pressure, that's been tested and meets all the water quality criteria. Again, but people got used to paying nothing for something. And now as the infrastructure gets retired, originally the developer there put the infrastructure and he put in a lot of cheap stuff, and whoever bought the house paid for it in the value of their house. When it comes time to replace it, fortunately, you don't have to share that infrastructure just amongst your 80 homes.
Yes.
They had increased
Yeah.
the rates a ton because the town continually does not.
Yeah, I heard all
adjust the
about
rates.
that, yep.
And they finally, the board there made a tough decision, well, they didn't have a decision, but they were the ones to have to say, we've got to raise the rates. I think they should,
Oh, yeah, they went way up,
just to account for the
Yeah.
cost of the
But
yeah.
again, you know, it's all relative. If they triple from $20 to $60, I go back and say, what else do you get for $60 a month? What do you pay for your cable? 200 plus. Or what do you pay for electricity? This and that. So nobody likes to see things go up. Believe me, I'm sure that Farmington, any more than us, we do not make a profit. There is no, you know, money, we get extra money because it's a hot, dry summer. It goes into reserve so that when it's a wet summer, we take and expenses exceed revenues, we pull it out of that. You know, we're required to go in for rates every 3 years to make sure that, you know, for the bond holders, because everything's done with debt, As far as capital, that we have sufficient, rates to cover payment of those bonds over their 30-year life. So, yeah, it's, but nobody wants to raise rates, believe me.
So
Yeah,
Chad, you guys will work together, sorry,
Yep.
you'll work together, then you'll work with Robin to do what she needs to do, if anything needs to
Well, first I'll work with Robin and then I'll send some.
As long as everything happens.
Yeah, I
If
gave
the
him
process that it's supposed to, then
Yeah,
we're good.
no, I think we're in agreement, we should be fine.
I gave you my card with my, they have my email address, as soon as I'm home retiring August 1st, so,
Yeah,
it's kind of
well,
one of
glad
those
you fit us
things,
in.
trying to check what that.
I'm glad you fit us in.
Well, it's getting down to it. Robin's throwing out the nights, and it's like, okay, something to figure it out. Actually, the meeting was supposed to be over at 2, but didn't get over till 4 over in Guilford. So it's like, all right, well, certainly not going to drive back to Nashville to turn around.
Yeah.
It's a nice, easy drive over the middle. Now we'll do the drive to Nashville.
Well, thank you for meeting with us.
Yes,
You're
thank
welcome for
you.
having us. Appreciate it.
Anything else? So,
Oh,
no, I'm just gonna, this is just a call from Chad. So Chad, is there something that we can do to get Roy set up to get that situated, to get the online working in? Just let us know.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, I'll send them an email tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep. And then does your new tax collector have an email?
It would be the same one.
Same one, okay, so I can have them, is she gonna be in tomorrow?
He,
Or he, sorry, are they gonna be
he
in tomorrow?
probably, I'm not sure, I'm gonna speak with him tonight. If he is, maybe we can get,
Okay. Well, I'll get everyone on an email chain.
okay, thank you.
You
Yeah,
probably
he actually,
before, when he was the treasurer, and he might have worked with him as deputy tax collector.
so if you also put the POS on there, because I'll have access to that email in case I can't get in, somebody can't get into the tax account, tax collector.
DOS at NH.
I think it was in those emails you sent.
Yeah, it should
With
be.
Pennichuck. So he's out. Yeah, I'll send it.
Great, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Probably spending more time in the car than in being here.
No, that's all right.
That's,
We got things done, that's what
That's right.
Thank
you. So Robin, you kept with the minutes for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good? I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 6:29.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.